Hi everyone, how are you? I'm Sarah with Divine Love Healing. I wanted to come on today and record a special video on the upcoming great or grand conjunction, whichever you want to call it. Now, as you all know, I am not an astrologer, but I do dabble in it. I'm fascinated by it, and it is something that I am really starting to tap into the energy. I know that I definitely feel it when there are certain celestial cycles that happen, certain planetary shifts, retrogrades. I think more and more people are starting to experience these things and notice that we get triggered more. Things are starting to come up to the surface. There's a lot that is happening with our energy. The more we ascend, the more as we awaken, as we start tapping into our intuition and into those higher vibrational energies, we start connecting with the cosmos more. So, of course, it makes sense that these planetary shifts are going to affect us more, just not only, in our emotional body, our spiritual body, but also our physical body. So, what is all of this stuff that's coming up? All right. So, there's a lot happening. And as if 2020 wasn't crazy enough of a year, some of the celestial things that are happening are just extremely powerful. It seems like each time, first of all, it's a little bit unique. Well, we had, I think, 2 full moons in October, I believe, which is very rare to have 2 full moons in a month. So that happened. We normally don't start eclipse season until December or January timeframe, and there was actually an eclipse on my birthday, November 30th. So the eclipses started a little bit early. The eclipses cycles have actually shifted. For the longest time, they were in Cancer, and I can't remember the other sign that was getting the alternating energy. Maybe it was Capricorn, but it was definitely Cancer. Now it's in Sagittarius and Gemini. So lucky me, because I'm a Sag. So I get to go through that experience. But that is obviously, fire energy. And Gemini is swords. It's like fast moving. It's some intense, quick, just stuff that's happening. So December 21st, right? As if we didn't have enough happening, is winter solstice, right? So that's always a very powerful time of the year when the seasons change. So that happens, and we have what is called the Great Conjunction. So Jupiter and Saturn, I've got some notes here just because I knew I was not going to remember everything that I had read about it. Jupiter and Saturn are the two largest planets in our solar system. Every 20 years, they meet in what's called a planetary conjunction, okay? So the last time this happened was May 28th, 2000. So that's okay, fine, whatever, every 20 years or so, that's not that big of a deal. Well, number one, it's on the solstice, so that's pretty significant. The thing that's important about this particular conjunction and the timing is it's starting a new 200-year cycle where the planets are conjuncting in the same element, air, in Aquarius. Okay, so there's been that saying for a long time. I think there's even a song maybe that came out back in the 70s or something called The Dawn of the Age of Aquarius. That's what's happening. Okay, so we've had planets and haven't been in air. It's been hundreds of years since all of this stuff has lined up a certain way. And so air energy, particularly Aquarius, it's very intellectual. It's very, thought-based. There's humanitarian aspect, ideas, kind of changing the way we think, the way we interact, the way innovation, it's very much an energy of just, I feel like swift change. That's what I just keep getting and hearing is like swift change. So, this particular type of, I guess, how close these planets are going to be is not going to happen again until 2080. So for many of us, that this is a once in a lifetime thing. Now, they're going to be, it says, a tenth of a degree away from each other, which is about the fifth of the width of the moon. So this is not only the closest, but also the fact that this is happening in Aquarius. This is the first time that all of those elements, all of those variables are coming together since 1623. This was like the time, wasn't it, where Galileo was starting to get into discovering these things. I mean, that's the type of historical event that is about to happen. So that's why people are talking about it a lot. That's why it's really a big deal. And what's even more interesting about the timing of this, right? It'd be cool that, let's say if it's happened summer solstice or something, that'd be kind of cool. But the fact that it's happening December 21st, December 25th is Christmas. And so in honor of that, I'll show you guys here in a minute, but it's going to be such a large, those two planets coming together, even with the naked eye, you're going to see it's going to look like the Christmas star. The Christmas star, whether or not you're religious, you have, the magic of Christmas, of that story of the Immaculate Conception and of, Joseph and Mary, finding refuge in the manger and in the stable, and then him being born, and all of the things happening and coming together, and the Magi. I mean, there's so much going on right now that the coincidences and the timing and the energy, it's just undeniable, some of the things that are happening. So this is an amazing, this was actually a set that I got on sale. I usually don't wear gold. I usually am a silver girl, but I was so drawn to this honestly, because of this grand conjunction that's coming up, and just the magic around an unprecedented event that has not happened since the 1600s, and it's about to happen for us. And given how crazy 2020 has been, I don't think anybody can deny that the things that are happening, be it good, be it bad, however you look at it, some horrific things are happening. It's going to bring about change and revolution, and that's the only way that we can survive, is if we come together. So anyway, we'll see what comes out in the reading, but this is an origami owl set that they had. I don't know if it's on sale now, but this is actually the stable that they were in, and that's Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus, and there's the star at the top. It's like the Christmas star. So that's, I actually just ordered, because I was reading about it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, hopefully we have clear skies here in Ohio, but I ordered a cheap, like $30 pair of binoculars, because they were saying that, even if you just had like bird watching equipment or something like that, that you actually, if it's clear, you may be able to see the moons around Jupiter. That's how close it's going to be, how bright it's going to be, and even possibly if you have a telescope or something that's like, higher, you may see hints of the rings of Saturn. So in any event, even if you don't have equipment, you should be able to look up in the sky and just see like a huge bright star and know that that's not a star, that is Jupiter and Saturn, and this is an event that hasn't happened, like I said, since the 1600s. So for that reason, I just wanted to come on here and do a video to just see what messages, Spirit has. And so I'm going to use, I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm using some different decks that I haven't used in a long time. And a lot of these decks are they're very cosmic. They're very, you guys know I read by images for the most part. Imagery is very important to me. A lot of the images aren't going to give away, it's the booklets that, you have to read to get messages. So if you've not watched my videos before, typically I don't read from the booklets, I just channel the messages, and that may very well happen today, but there might be some of these where I want to pull out the booklet and see what it says, because I feel like I was drawn to these decks for a reason. I feel like there are definitely some profound messages that are meant to come out. So, and also too, the tarot deck I'm going to use is the Syrian Starseed Tarot, and they use a lot of different terms for all of them. For the suits, for the major arcana, they're different coded. So if I need to reference the book again, my apologies, but I just feel like the energy with some of these decks that I have out, I'm really excited. And I'll try to name all of them, but if you see something that catches your eye, you want to know what it is, where I got it, let me know. Shoot me a comment, shoot me a message. But we're just going to see right now what Spirit wants us to know about this grand conjunction. What is, and I'm just going to, I don't know if I'm going to pull a spread or if I'm going to just pull cards for to see what happens. Wow. So what I'm getting is that many people are feeling, understandably, a sense of, loss with this year, as far as not only just, the actual physical loss of people who have lost their lives in this pandemic, but the loss, some people are viewing it as loss of freedoms. Some people are viewing it as a loss of, there's been a loss of civility, and that was happening before the pandemic. Just loss of, fun, innocence. And even though society wasn't perfect and things weren't working, at least, a year ago, we had no qualms or fears about getting on an airplane and going somewhere. We didn't fear, either, getting somebody sick if we hug them, or being chastised if we do so, or if we hang out with our friends. And, there's all this judgment. I feel like a lot of people are feeling the loss of the world and the life that they knew, right? And so this year has been a year of really having to go inward and heal and face the loss of the life that we knew, the existence we knew. And it's been, I'm getting, this is the Four of Orbs, which is the Four of Swords. But for me, I'm getting, even though it's a Swords card, kind of like the Four of Cups energy too, kind of like feeling like the world, like, is, anything that was good, all the good times are past. There's nothing to look forward to anymore. The rest of our existence is just this, like, isolation and loneliness, and things will never go back to the way they were. That's kind of where people are right now, and some people are feeling very hopeless and despondent with this energy. So I think, this time, though, has been a time for many people who are on the spiritual light bearer path to really go inward, to prepare for what's coming. And, we've got the Eight of Crystals here, which is the Eight of Pentacles. It's learning the trades. It's learning about crystals, learning about, spiritual concepts, awakening. It's starting to discover that there are different realities, different possibilities, different ways to build a new foundation, if that makes any sense. And I think, even if this doesn't, so I'm kind of talking to this, like, whether you're awakened on the spiritual path and a light bearer or not, I feel like the messages should resonate, so take what resonates and toss the rest. This is just a general message, a general reading. But I feel like for some people who maybe aren't on that path, they're seeing kind of like it's a fantasy that things can get better. It's an illusion that things can get better, that it's this dark lost, like all hope is lost, right? For those who are on the light bearer path, there has been an even higher level of awakening and a recognition that we're marching towards something, and it's coming really quickly. This is the Seven of Cups, right? But look how profound in this image. It's like the cups are going up a staircase. And it's like those of us that have been on this path, working on ourselves, working and learning these developing our spiritual gifts. Just me, like, I just awakened 3 years ago. And I just thought, oh, this is fun. Like, I'm going to play with crystals, and I'm going to get attuned to do Reiki, and this is cool. Yeah, I'm into this stuff. Little did I know that it was a preparation, like each level up, it's like closer to something else bigger that's coming, right? And that's where we are now. We're at this time frame where I feel like it's this precipice that something big is about to happen. And we literally are marching towards, ascending towards a new reality. And what I think, this is just, I've got chills right now. The current energy, the placement, the 3 card in a spread is the current energy. And mind you, I asked about this, the 21st, as far as what's happening. So this is the Justice card, but of course in this deck it's a little bit different. It's divine justice. Divine justice. So the scales right now, the scales are, very much 50-50. I mean, it kind of shows with the election how close the election was. And I'm not, trying to make this into, a political type thing, but there's been a lot of hatred stirred up. And for some of the things that have happened, for the election to be as close as it was, it shows you how divided our society is, right? And so everything, and I've talked about this in my videos prior, everything is about balancing the light and the darkness, right? You don't, as a light bearer, you don't want to eradicate the darkness, because we all have darkness within us. We all have ego. We all have shadow. It's about balancing. It's about the yin and yang. We're kind of at this tipping point now, though, like where people are turning a blind eye to basic human decency, right? It's one thing to disagree with somebody. It's one thing to, have your different opinions. But we're, to the point where people are actually telling people to kill themselves and they're a piece of shit and they're a horrible person because they disagree with them. We're having people destroy businesses and burn stuff down if they disagree with something, and we're having people show up to elected officials' homes with guns, and threaten them for doing their job. We're at the cusp of a revolution. I mean, and I really don't follow the news that much, I'll be honest. It's just too draining. But I did hear, I think it was Texas. I think Texas sued other states. I'm a lawyer by day, you guys know that, completely frivolous. But it's almost like we're at this point where states are it's so divided, like we're almost in a civil war. So this is that energy. This is where we are, and it's like, which way are we going to go? And I feel like the Divine Mother and Father, I think we've come to this point where people can't turn a blind eye to their truth anymore. The truth is that we are all one. We are all images of God. And when I say we're all one, I mean animals. I mean everybody, race, it doesn't matter. We are one with God. We have the divinity of God within us. And it's, one thing as a human being to have an ego and to disagree with somebody, but there's so much downright hatred, negative reasoning, and people so far detached from any concept of loving themselves, let alone loving anyone else, let alone connecting to God, the truth. It's just this like downward spiral, right? We're kind of at this, everything's like hanging in the balance right now. And so, let me see what we've got here. What we have, are those of us, who've been on this path for a while, are starting to realize, oh gosh, the light bearers, like, we've really got to step it up here. This is no longer dabbling in, like, I'm going to play with some crystals and, meditate and do yoga. And this is, I'm talking about, this is the mindset, I've been in for a while. I was like, yeah, I'm taking a class and I'm doing Reiki and I'm doing this, but it's kind of a side thing. And, there's a need. It's more than a need, it's a calling to recognize your power and why you were given the gifts that you're given. You know, if you're awakened, or if you're at all even just, you don't even know what I'm talking about when I say you're awakened. If you just care about other human beings, then, you know, this should resonate. It is time to step up and channel all the love and the faith and any goodness you have in your heart, you know, sending that out into the world. And I mean, I don't mean just like phoning it in. I mean embodying that, detaching from the drama, not engaging in the hatred and the stirring up of things, really just anchoring your faith and focusing on God, focusing on the angels, whatever you identify with, focusing on your light, detaching from it. Becoming, okay, so Adept of Crystals is the Knight of Pentacles. It's like, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm this little, like, you know, and I know I keep referencing this card, but it kind of reminds me of when I first awakened, like, ooh, it's a crystal, it's shiny, like, I'm going to play with it, and you know, I enjoy it, you know, I'm going to sit and meditate with it, and, or, you know, it's going to help me clear out some of my pain, you know, I'm going to cry and hold Apache tears or whatever. You know, there's a difference between, you know, dabbling in something, having a hobby, and then, you know, owning it, and it's your truth and it's your mission and you're stepping in it, right? He's kind of here, he's kind of like, I don't know, but this is like right now, light bearers, like, it's go time. That's what I'm getting. It is go time. This is not a hobby. This is not a, you know, oh, you know, I'll just, like I said, you know, do some yoga, or I'm gonna meditate with my crystal. It is embodying it. It is embodying it, owning your truth, being authentic, confident. And I think right now, you know, many of us are at this Nine of Wands energy where we're like, my God, you know, we've been on this journey, and many of us, you know, myself included, kind of thought that my purpose in awakening, you know, 3 years ago was, oh, I'm supposed to awaken and I'm going to be with my twin flame, and we're going to just, you know, spread light and love into the world, and we're going to have such an amazing relationship that, you know, we're just going to vibrate light out and people are going to just see that and, you know, be inspired. No, you know, this is about being a warrior of the light. It's one thing to, you know, like I said, it's like grab your wand and light that bitch up. Like, there's no more like dress rehearsal, right? You know, and what does that mean? You know, I guess I would say it's more, you know, if you pray, that's a good thing, but it's really digging deep and connecting to, you know, source. And I'd say setting intentions. We have a new moon coming up on the 14th. Petitioning with this new moon, petitioning what you want to see as far as society goes. And almost it's as if you know it, right? It's not a, I hope that things get better. I hope that the virus goes away. No, it's like, I know we're here to create new earth. We are worthy. We are of the light. I know it's going to get better. I know, you know, XYZ, whatever it is, I know this virus is going to end up dissipating. You know, we have these vaccines, but the virus is going to just, people are going to develop antibodies and it's going to just dissipate into a common cold, whatever it is. You set those attentions. It's really sitting down and focusing and connecting and knowing. And more than anything, I think it's just anchoring that higher vibration. And that higher vibration is a vibration of love, of trust, of faith, and making your creation of a new reality. It starts within you, but making that your priority. Okay. I don't know. I feel like there's words that it's like this energy is coming through, and I don't know how to convey the urgency of what it is and what it is that you can do, because this feels much greater than, every time I do a lot, these in the past, it's like, yeah, just, do a ritual and do this. This is like, I'm getting like petition, instead of focusing on what's been lost and how bad society is and how hateful people are and how terrible things are, focus on this. All of this growth, all of this ascension, all of the things, even if you're not on this, you wouldn't identify yourself as a spiritual path, focus on the growth that you've experienced as a result of all your experiences and be grateful for it. Give gratitude. And know deep down, it's about knowing and trusting and just, putting out there that that there's still good in this world. And that you will fight to spread the light. Okay, I don't know where this came from, but it starts within you. And if you as a light bearer think the world is full of a bunch of shitholes and people are idiots and people are assholes, and I'm guilty of this too, trust me. I've gotten on, political pages, and, I don't really make nasty comments, but I laugh at the, some of the ones that are on there, and, and I'm still guilty of that, right? I'm a human being, and it's entertaining, but at the same time, that is me focusing on bashing other people, when instead I could be focusing on the good. Even if that means you ignore that stuff, focus on the fact that there are people volunteering every day to feed the homeless. Maybe even do that yourself, even if you don't have much to give. If you can go to the dollar store and get a few toiletries and maybe blankets and some socks and gloves and a hat, spend $10, just something, and if where there's homeless people in your area, just that act. I can tell you, I did this with someone in my community, somebody who would hang around, the wine tastings in the area, and lived in his car, and I got, something came over me, when I started working with the angels. And one night, he was there by himself. He would always try to fit in the conversation, and he just was one of those, I think maybe he had some kind of social disorder or something, and he would just talk, and it's like, you talk to him for a little bit, and then it's like, you're just not even having a conversation, it's driving you crazy, and you want to be nice, but it's like, no, so people would ignore him, and I went up to him, and I asked how he was doing, and he was struggling because he, was going to have to live in his car and was going through all of that. And he just looked up at me and he said, "Nobody cares." And something came over me, and I grabbed his hands, I looked in his eyes, and I said, "I care. I care." And from then on, I got his email address, and I helped him a little bit. He never would ask me for anything, you know what I mean? But I gave him $20 a couple times for gas. I put him in touch with a social worker. She was only able to help him a little bit. There were a couple things I tried to do for him, and it really never panned out. But I never, he never really bothered me. People were kind of like, "You're crazy. He's going to start emailing you all the time. He's going to do this." No. Just that act, right, of me telling him, "I care." And he felt that. I wasn't just saying that, right? And I took some time to try to help him, even though I'm not the one that ultimately was able to get him what he needed. I've since heard through the grapevine and actually saw he's living not too far up the road from me. He has a home, like he's in an apartment. So what is my point of sharing all of that? That is a concrete example. They wanted me to share it. One thing like that can make a difference, right? Just me showing that I cared about this person. Even though, yeah, would I want to hang out with this guy? Would I want to? No, like he got on my nerves. But I cared about him. Something, I allowed it to flow through me. It wasn't me talking, right? It was the divine angels saying, I care about you. And he felt that, and it changed him. He is now in a home. He got the impetus to do that. He got the confidence. He was touched by that. So those are the types of things, right? That's something that I needed to do versus, right? Like me recording these videos is fine. Me, doing Reiki or whatever. But actually changing one person, going out and spreading, it's almost like I'm getting, and I'm not trying to compare myself or light workers, but Jesus was a light worker. Jesus did Reiki. Jesus went out and helped the poor, right? Bringing that divine love, that energy in through you and sharing that with, even if it's, one person. You don't have to hold their hands like I did, and you can just give, take them, something. Showing people who are hopeless that you care, that brings light into the world. That brings change. Just that one example. That guy was stuck for months in the same cycle. And once he knew that someone cared about him and invested and he mattered as a person, he was able to turn his life around. So I wanted to share that with you. Think about, I don't want to be like, what would Jesus do? Because I'm not a religious person. You guys know that. But Jesus was a light bearer. Okay? And that's what we're being called to step up and do, is to really spread that love in ways that's, not common. Do you think people thought I was probably a weirdo when I walked up to this guy in the middle, of Dorothy Lane Market? And I walked up and he's sitting by himself and everybody's, and I grab his hands and I'm doing this. I don't give a shit what people thought. Something came over. That's the kind of stuff. It's like to take action. We have to show the divine. The balance is tipping in the light. And that's by helping each other, treating each other as human beings, right? Not hiding behind our computers and attacking each other. Not, sitting there saying, yeah, seeing the same guy over and over again that needs help. But you don't want to, nobody else, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk. I don't want people to think of me. No, help them. If you have the capability, right, to do that, even if it's just giving them a crystal, right? Maybe introducing them to this so that they can start here, and who knows where they might end up, right? Even something small, giving someone introducing them, giving them something to show you care, just introducing them to the light, right? That's the whole bringing God's love and energy to others in a physical, tangible way. I don't know why I was guided to share that with you guys, but sorry, I didn't mean to digress. But doing that, that's where we're stepping in warrior mode, where we're actually, we're taking action. We are showing God, we are showing the divine that there is good left on this planet. There is good, and it's not even just good. It is, look at all this work we've done. Look at all this work that we've done, God, to come up. And we know there's more to do. We know there's more stairs. We know there's more ascension. If we're going to anchor 5D, if we're going to anchor Earth, the new Earth. But we're here, we're ready to do it. And I don't know about you guys, but, when I first awakened, and for that first year, every time I would go through a round of ascension symptoms, I was just I literally, I can laugh about this now because I literally thought, I awakened, I had a couple bouts of ascension flu and chakra purging, and I thought, okay, that's cute. Okay, I'm done with this now. I'm awakened. Now I can be with my twin flame, and everything's good. No, the ascension symptoms, it has just gotten, sometimes it's debilitating, but now it's I'm just so used to it Like if I need to rest, I rest. It's like, oh, okay, there's a heart palpitation. Oh, okay, my throat hurts. I've got a headache. And then I know I'm going to feel better. I know I feel lighter. It's this like, look at how far we've come, I guess is the point. Like I can say now, like, okay, yeah, I just know like ascension symptoms are a way of life. And you just keep dealing with it, and you keep growing, and you keep picking up that wand, and you're ready for battle. Because this is what we signed up for. This is the time. Like I keep getting, it's not a dress rehearsal. This is it. So to the extent that you can basically show God, that you are serious about embodying this divine love, this fifth dimensional consciousness, and breathing it and into your everyday existence in any way you can. Even if it's just, you're on a phone call for work and your demeanor is just like, you put people at ease. You can help diffuse stressful situations. People just get calm by talking to you. Those are, tangible ways that you can spread the light too, right? It doesn't have to be as dramatic as going up to a homeless person and, that type of thing, but just embody that energy, because we've got to do everything we can to tip the scales, right, guys? Because this is, I'm going to be real, this is the end of times. That the Bible talked about. The 144,000 light bearers are here, and some people, are talking about it, and they do it, to make money, and they like sell, all this new age and all this. But are they actually doing the work? Are they actually picking up that wand? That's what we need, right? Why? Because, Ace of Orbs. I couldn't make this shit up if I tried, you guys. I couldn't. Ace of Cups. Ace of Swords. I keep thinking cups because of the water. Orbs is swords. It's a difficult new beginning, right? It's almost like giving birth. The pain that we've went through this year, the ascension symptoms, the awakening, the purging, the, detaching from our emotions, clearing karma, literally our DNA, those on the light bearer path, like, we're being pummeled with energy. Our DNA is changing. It's unprecedented, the amount of growth in consciousness, the physical symptoms, the things that we are evolving and changing. It's unprecedented, and it's been hard, right? It's been hard. It's been beautiful. Just like I don't have children, but giving birth is probably like the most painful experience, but the most exquisitely beautiful experience. Ace of Swords energy, painful new beginning, but look what it brings. Like, this is, yes, it's an orb, but it looks to me like a new earth, like a new earth, a rainbow. It's just this happy orb that is there. It's there for the taking if we fight for it. And I think this is really just the next cards. We've got Seeker of Flames, which is the Queen of Wands. This is having confidence in ourselves and believing that, even though it sounds crazy, it sounds like sci-fi. It sounds like, still there are days I wake up and I'm like, this is really happening. Like, this is, the 144,000, the light bearers, believing that, this is who you are, having that confidence, recognizing, owning the ancient, the history, all of the things you've cleared, all of the ancestral stuff. Like, it's like, yes, like, I've done this. Why have I done this? Why have I went through all this stuff? It isn't about, your own ascension. And, for me, it was like, oh, I'm getting, once I get through all this, once I get through this next test, once I get through this, I can be with my twin flame, or I can be in a relationship. It's not about that. Like, all of that stuff, all that triggering with my twin flame, all of the awakening, all the things he did for me were so that I could get to now to be a part of this collective that is trying to save our planet and usher in new earth. This divine justice, okay? It's like recognizing why you're here. Why are you here? Why did all this happen? Why did you go through all these things? Why are you awakening now? This is why. Because it's Judgment Day. Karma. I mean, we got justice and judgment in this reading. So, major arcanas. I think that's pretty obvious. It's a 20, but yeah, karma. It's about the karma coming back. But this is it's a Judgment Day. And the outcome here, though, is that higher self, which is like the high priestess. And so to me, I say this is a successful merging with the higher self, with the higher dimension, which is 5D, which is fifth dimension, which is bringing in a new earth. So this is very powerful. So it's like, which way are we going to go? I mean, I think the outcome being the higher self versus, like the Tower or something like that, or the 9 or 10 of Swords. This is a good outcome, guys. What do you think? Merging with the fifth dimension, bringing that in, but it's like Spirit wants us to know, like, the shit is getting real. It's no longer a dress rehearsal. This is what has to happen. So I didn't mean to take up, 40 minutes on just that spread, but I guess that had to happen. I'm going to pull out I'm trying to remember which deck this is. I think this is the Power. Yeah. Power reading, or Sacred Power cards. Affirmations. So this is about where I was talking about the petition. I think this is what's coming in. Saying, like, staying positive. Like, I know that we're here to bring about, we didn't come this far to only come this far. I know everything's going to be okay. I know New Earth is coming, right? It's going within, clearing, making sure your chakras are clear in alignment, connecting to that higher self. But affirmations is what this says. I don't think it has a number on it. No, but it's just that affirming, right? Knowing who you are, remembering your connection to everything else, to the divine, to, your energy body, to the light, all of those things, because transformation is here. It's, we're here to bring about transformation once we remember and we connect to the cosmos and who we are. This is the phoenix rising from the ashes. That's, a lot of us have been getting that totem around the election and around this time of year. It was Scorpio season around then, but the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's like the earth, the way things was not working. And so although this change has been difficult, it is creating this new existence, right? Let's see, I'm gonna pull out cosmic reading cards. I love, 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 love this deck. Mother Earth. I mean, you guys, you know what I'm going to say. I can't make this shit up. I can't. Mother Earth, 2-2. That's about, 2 is about, duality, balance. Mother Earth. It's like, Mother Earth needs us. We have the power to create New Earth. It's in our hands right now. Right now. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Honestly, this is kind of like, I don't know how I go on after this, but one things I did want to do, because I talked about the Christmas star, with the Great Conjunction being the Christmas star and all of that. I have the Mother Mary Oracle Guidebook, and Mary, the last Karuna Reiki training I did, Mother Mary came to me a couple of times. I had some profound experiences with her during that class, and so I don't use these cards that often, and I just feel like that she has a message for the collective right now, since we're about coming up on Christmas and winter solstice and all those other things. So let's see what message Mother Mary has for the collective, please. Oh my God, you guys. Just look at this really quick. yeah, so like a lot of these, don't have blessings bestowed, you know, a lot of these, my point is she's holding the baby Jesus. And we were just talking about the nativity and not only that, Our Lady of Peaceful Change. Peaceful change. That's what we're trying to work towards. But we have to anchor into that energy. We have to anchor into that light. No matter how frustrated we get at people, and we just look like, oh my God, I can't believe that person said that or feels or is doing this or is whatever it is. You just have to, like, their experience is different and they're playing a role in everything that's happening. And we've all been chess pieces, to get to this point right now, to get to New Earth. So don't hate them for that, right? I mean, many of us wish we could go back to, 10 years ago, what life was like and just be going to concerts and doing, yeah. I mean, sure, but to have the opportunity that no generation of humans has had to this point to connect to their divinity, to bring about fifth dimensional consciousness, Christ consciousness onto Earth. I mean, that wouldn't be feasible. We wouldn't be here where we are if all these people hadn't played their role, good, bad, ugly. So that's where we are. Now, I'm going to read from the book, Our Lady of Peaceful Change, because this one is obviously one that's going to have, I'm sure, a message that is relevant. Okay. Change is coming to you now, my dear child. It is a change that has been triggered by the loving prayers held deep within your heart. This change does not have to be difficult for you. Trust in me, and I shall ensure that you are supported through this change, that you are held safely and securely in my heart as you transition from one way to another. Oh my God. I would like you to use your energy for more worthy purposes than unnecessary worthy. Was I not just saying that, you guys? I mean, trust me a little more and know that the changes you are encountering now or soon will are actually the blessing of my answer to your prayers. Our Lady of Peaceful Change comes to us when change is either happening now or is on its way to us soon as an answer to a prayer. Not all change has to be difficult. Change can evoke thoughts of upheaval, uncertainty, instability, and even fear. We all have different capacity to accept change with equanimity, depending on the circumstances and situations. Sometimes it might seem very frightening. At other times, it might not be so frightening. It may even be considered exciting, even whilst there are moments of confusion or uncertainty. Our Mother Mary understands that sometimes change feels very challenging, and sometimes there's very good reason for this. Perhaps the sheer magnitude of the change requires a lot of emotional energy in order for us to be able to take the leap. In such situations, we might actually need a bit of a push from life or a nudge from the Divine Mother to take the steps. Those nudges will come in the form of life circumstances that urge us to loosen our grip and let life happen more freely. Sometimes it will be a gentle lull on the waves of the great ocean of life, and we relax, let go, and flow. At other times, we need a great big wave to overcome us in order and let go, and realize that it is actually safe to flow. The fear was only about the letting go. However, the Holy Mother also knows there are plenty of times when we worry or fear that through change, and it's not necessary for us to do so at all. Our Lady of Peaceful Change comes to you now to allay your concerns you have about a change that's taking place or that will soon happen. She tells you everything is going to work out for the best, and that although there might be some adjustments to make, there's nothing to be concerned about. She's taking care of all the details. You can relax and trust that if you need to attend to something, you will feel an inner nudge to do so. Okay, so it's talking about trusting a little more. All is happening in perfect timing. Change will happen naturally as we grow. So here's a healing process and affirmation that I'm going to leave you with. Imagine you are outside a sunlit room that is quiet and serene. You feel drawn to enter the room because it feels so lovely and peaceful. Become aware of the sound of gentle, relaxed breathing. You sense a mother lovingly holding a child. Both are completely peaceful. breathing easily in harmony with each other. This is a harmony that nothing can disturb. There's a chair in the room for you, and the mother smiles at you as you enter and sit in the chair. Close your eyes and sit comfortably in that chair. Let yourself be a part of that peace, sitting quietly in that room. Stay there for as long as feels good for you, and then finish by speaking aloud the following healing affirmation. Our Lady of Peaceful Change, Divine Mother Mary, who loves me without condition, is with me now. I accept her love, protection, and sublime grace with gratitude and trust. I open to divinely inspired change for the greatest good. So be it. Is that not beautiful, you guys? Like, I knew this reading would be powerful, but I really wasn't expecting that. Wow. So I hope this resonated for you. It wasn't intended to be anything that's like a scary, thing to worry about. That's what she was even coming through and saying is don't worry. Just put that worry and fear into love and take loving action in your life as much as you can. And connect to Mother Mary, connect to Jesus, Archangel Michael, whatever, divine source that you identify with, connect to them. Know that you're safe, know that you're protected, know that you are loved. And if you guys want to book a session with me to discuss your specific situation, that information is down below. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful holiday if I don't see you before then.